Well, it looks like you've manifested a very nice job for yourself, a new job that you can create, be very creative. You like become bosom buddies with all your customers.
Yeah, these people are great.
And that's because you are a coffee person.
I'm wealthy. I'm very wealthy. I'm building. I got all these friends. I got this buddy Chris here too. He's been all over the place. So
you love coffee.
Yeah, he loves coffee and sugar.
That's right. You're a coffee lover, baby.
Yeah, I'm getting into chai now. Too.
Chai.
Oh, good.
Great. And so, okay, so this is about manifesting, and you should get my Facebook note on manifesting up on your computer screen, where you can continue to look at it as we go over it and we talk about it. Because this is a little different than the other manifesting movie we made. Okay, that's why we're doing another one. Because this one is about how nothing you get comes from anything you do. And I was sort of like dropping that out, and Franny started like pushing that back at me and reminding me like that, because I always seem to be like saying we got to do this, and I was turning good things that we could do into actions. And I've since I made a discovery that your manifesting function, you can switch it off. You can actually just switch off your ability to manifest. And the way you switch it off, when you switch it off, then you start feeling like taking actions. So is everybody looking? By the way, I posted the note on my Facebook wall, so it'd be pretty easy to find it just that way.
But you're breaking up a bit.
There's just a lot of bumping, banging around there. Okay.
So go to my Facebook wall.
I'm looking at the list. That's the notes.
Okay. And right at the top, the note for manifesting is right there. So, Greg, you just changed your car insurance. Now, was that an action or an activity?
Well, that was an action. The activity is looking out for is manifesting money and saving money, and so I was manifesting money, $100 extra a month.
Well, if it was an action, then you turned off your manifesting function while you were doing it. Why don't you test it? Was it an action or an activity? Everybody test for Greg, too.
It was an activity until I pulled the trigger and said yes. And then for a brief moment, it was really an activity. It was an ongoing activity.
Franny, what do you get?
I thought it was an activity because we were doing a lot of those kind of things.
You're on your phone and your computer, right?
I'm on my video camera and the phone for audio.
Okay, you better mute your computer.
Oh, I have to use the microphone.
Right.
The camera, okay.
Much better.
Took an
Sorry about that. I had to mute both again.
Go ahead.
It's an activity.
It was part of the activities that we were doing to review all our accounts and what we weren't using.
Okay. Barb, what do you get when he changed his car insurance? Was it an activity or an action?
I think sometimes Greg doing that kind of thing, he does those kind of activities, so I guess at that point it was an action. I've seen Greg do those activities, like look around for ways to save money, that's an activity. But this might not be as consistent with his manifesting abilities, so I'd watch you do that. But I guess it's an action when he did it, and he actually made a change. I'll go with activity, actually.
Well, what does your finger say when you test it? You get a yes on activity, action, or both?
Activity. Yeah, activity. Both. Or if we can have a both, I'll get both, yeah.
Greg?
He was manifesting because he manifested someone accepting, one of the companies accepting the parameters that he had, because not all of them would.
But he was looking for that, right? They didn't just like call him up.
He's looking for a certain,
I'm just looking for cheaper insurance. My insurance is up. My insurance was up, and Hum's insurance was up. And I was trying to get insurance for us cheaper. It just turns out that it did manifest that these companies would put the policy in my name rather than in World Harmonic Unified Minister's name, which saved us money.
Okay.
And to do that for.
Yeah, I think that's an activity that you do. You look around for things like that. I'll just use an example in my own life. Like sometimes I look at my dealings with the cafe like is that an activity or an action? Because it's like, you know, I could spend all day there and make as much money as I make maybe in one session when I'm doing coaching with the units. So it's not necessarily about the money. So I have to think about that. Like, couldn't I just manifest another client every day and then be totally free all day again? So it's when I'm there, I have to be like just another, day. And I can manifest new clients while I'm there, or just be doing, I don't know, just kind of like be doing nothing while I'm busy every day. And, saving money and making money have to be part of the same thing. Like, while I'm there, it's sort of like my business, so I have to figure out ways to save money for the place too, and also attract more customers, and also just attract other things that are unrelated to that particular business. That's why I saw you in that position, Greg, with you managing the money of the organization. Like, how do we? It was always the problem when I had the job you had with our old companies. How do you just attract more money so you don't have to constantly be? It's not that it's not good to be frugal or save money, but the mission is to sort of manifest enough and almost replace yourself, kind of. A guy that's in charge of insurance or something. But
I want to ask, let me ask Michael something.
Okay.
Now, Michael, you were talking when we were with Barb not too long ago, and you were saying that you saw Barb's working in the coffee bar as having a very positive effect on her. Now, does that still feel true to you, and if so, can you elaborate on it?
It does feel true, and I can tell when Barb is being her natural self. I guess maybe that's an activity. She's just doing what she's interested in doing, and she's a people person, and she loves interacting with people, and she loves having responsibility, and she loves having some amount of structure in her life. And so when she has this opportunity to have a structure and to manage the cookie shop, she gets to interact with people, and all the ingredients are there for her that she truly and thoroughly enjoys it.
And so, one of the things that you said when you were talking before is that Barb does better when she does things with people than when she does things by herself. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
I think that was a key point. So we really are talking about an activity. Barb has found an activity that aligns with her intention to tip Cure into global consciousness in the coffee bar. And to me, Barb, you feel more, when I'm with you, I get more of a feeling from you that you are manifesting Cure tipping into global consciousness.
That's true.
Now than I did before you were doing the coffee shop thing.
Yes.
And part of that is just because of how you bond with the customers, and also you teach them how to cure things.
Yeah, it's like I'm inside of it all day.
Mm-hmm.
That state of, that connected state.
The coffee bar is providing you with a steady stream of people to interact with about cure.
Yeah.
I have a comment to make too.
Go ahead.
Bar's a little unusual in that a lot of people are able to do action after action after action because they think they're supposed to or they need to, even though they don't really enjoy those actions or they don't come naturally for them. But Barb is unusual in that she actually can't really do that.
Yeah, that's true.
When Barb thinks or thinks she should do, she doesn't really do them, and she tries. It doesn't last long. The only time that Barb really sticks with something is if it's an activity that she actually enjoys and is passionate about. So what I like about Barb is that she's very honest about that. It's like, Michael, she'll say, Michael, I really should go be somewhere by 4 o'clock. I just can't do it because I'm so into what I'm doing right now. And that's a beautiful thing about Barb.
Barb, what Michael is saying here, I think, is that you can't do anything but manifest.
True.
And that's why you always manifest such good things. And if you notice, see, what we're really talking about here, like, you've been fantastic at manifesting great places to live and money, and it's interesting that people somebody gave you a house right by our favorite spot on earth, Ojo Caliente.
I know. So the thing is that
And you had that house for years, and they never charged you a penny, and it was like unbelievable. And so forth. And so now, what we're trying to do here with these classes is raise our level of what we're manifesting and manifest tipping cure into global consciousness. And so you're like taking a step forward with the coffee bar by stabilizing yourself and your ability to manifest, and that will result in forward movement, forward progress for all of our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been very happy about it, and I like your boss very much.
Yeah, she's cool. Ally.
She's your ally. I'm always amazed by how easy it is for me to work with Anna, your boss.
Mm-hmm.
I always expect her to fall down or, like not follow through or something, but she always follows through, and she cares, she wants to make things happen,
Yeah. Like, I don't know, I have like tons of friends, I have tons of people, but I feel like with these moments in my life when I'm really making a big push, I pick the strongest allies like Michael and Anna, like people who are actually in a position to take actions and do things and who come through.
Mm-hmm.
The consistent, the winners.
That's the key issue, is you gotta stay with the strongest people.
I know, I'm getting smart about that. Bond with them.
You gotta be with the strongest people. So back to Greg.
Yep.
Test this question. Have I done any actions in the last week?
No.
Okay. That's good, because what we have to remember is if you're doing something, you're not manifesting.
Yeah, sort of being sick. I feel weird when I'm doing things.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like that. I didn't want to do my homework. My Franny always got let out of homework because she did so well. And same thing, I understood it and I could do the stuff. I just didn't want to sit there and, okay, now I have to do it. But I sort of learned how to make things and make learning an activity.
Right.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you give maybe 2 examples of things that you would categorize as actions rather than activities? Because I'm still trying to understand the difference. I sort of think I know, but if you would help me, if you could give me a couple of examples of common things that,
Yes.
common actions that people take rather than activities.
You know, it's interesting that you asked me that question, because I was thinking about giving 2 examples as you were talking, as you started to speak.
That's the second time that we've had this
I was thinking.
thing happen like that, because did you tell everyone about the other time we had this?
I don't remember the other one.
The other one was in my conversation with Byard a few days ago. We heard him and I were on Skype, and he asked me to look at the list of immune dysfunctions, with a long list, or alphabetical list.
Right.
It's
And
easier, I think.
oh, maybe, yeah. And so I was just looking at perusing the list, and we were silence for maybe 10, 20 seconds. I was looking at the list, and then my eyes went to one particular dysfunction. I forgot which one it was.
Oh yeah, it was procrastination, that's right.
Procrastination.
And then right when I was looking at it, thinking about it, out of all those several hundred immune dysfunctions, Byron started talking about that one.
Ah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
The same time I was looking at it, I could have been looking at any one of those. He could have been talking about anyone, but we started. We focused on the same one at the same time. Yeah.
That's so funny. While you're saying this, I just thought of an example in your case. Like an activity for you would be riding your bike to the gym, working out, and coming home. And an action would be like looking for potential clients and calling them up. Like an activity would be going to the gym and coming home, and there's that answering machine message of a new client.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good example?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have.
You're actually good. You're a good manifester, Michael. You're sort of like me that way in terms of that you like to put the winning activities or the things that get you in manifesting mode first.
Well, I have some that I really want to talk about. See.
Okay.
Okay, one of them is the other day. See, Franny has trouble keeping. She has trouble making choices about objects and dealing with objects. Like she cannot decide to throw an object away. Like she'll keep something for years and finally throw it away. You know, just stay there, and at some point she'll say, "Oh well, okay, I guess I'll just throw this away." But she can't, like, from the first moment that she has it in her hand, she can't make that choice. Like she has to, like, have it there and think about it for a long time or a while. So the other day I said to her, when I looked around at the, piles of clutter in our house, and I said, what would it take for you to organize and clear this up? And Franny said to me, well, it would take, I think I said something like how long, or what would it take? And anyway, she said it would take like 8 months of solid work, like just working on it all day to do that. And at that point, I realized that she was relating to this, like, doing that as an action. or a set of actions, where if it became an activity that Franny did every day, such as it was, and I think it is. I think that Franny is, like, I've noticed Franny doing the activity of organizing. See, Franny is like masterful with creating a space. I mean, she's an interior designer. She actually has an interior design program that she uses to help people with their design their spaces and so forth. Franny is every kind of designer there is, and that's what she did for a living. And that she comes from a design family and had the best mentors and worked in the best places and so on. So what she's been doing anyway. She's been doing things. I watch her do small things, and these are activities. And I know that she's manifesting good things when she does them. Like, for example, yesterday, just to give you a contrast, Michael, in the same person, like yesterday, like she took this crystal that we washed, that we have a crystal hanging in the kitchen, which prevents arguments. It's a feng shui thing. And so we washed it, and she put a longer ribbon on it, and yesterday she rehung it. And, but funny thing, before she rehung it, we were in the kitchen, and she came in, and she was standing behind me, and all of a sudden she said, we really have to rehang that crystal because I'm having arguments with Greg, or something to that effect. I can't actually remember. And I said, oh shit, well, hang it now, come on, hang it. And she went right over and hung it. And so I see her doing things to, organize and do that, and that's an activity. So that's one example. Anyway, that's one example of an activity and an action. The thing is, but a lot of times when people relate to things as actions, they don't tend to do them. Like the kind of thing Barb was saying about, you were talking about calling somebody up to, be a client. Well, there's another example. Somehow you have turned that into an action. And you see what I tried to do with the outline.
Just an activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, just copy. That's exactly right.
See, now you don't have to say I need to call somebody up and see if they want to do a session or sell them on a session.
You just call them. Yeah.
You can say, I want to call this person and do the outline with the person. And then you just start the outline from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael, I just want to tell you that one of the reasons I'm meeting with you tonight is, you see, I'm actually in the middle, not in the middle, I'm drawing close to the end of this outline with you. I've been doing this outline. And see what? I didn't actually feel like inviting you until a little while ago. Like, what happened was, I listened to the movie of the talk we had 2 days ago, right before this meeting, and that activity led me to want to continue the activity by meeting with you tonight. And before that, I was relating to meeting with you again as an action. When I listened to the movie, basically what happened was I started enjoying myself. It's like what you were saying a few minutes ago about how Barb, she just enjoys herself.
Take a picture with you guys.
And that's what makes things activities for her. And that's right. Really, all Barb has to do, she has to learn to change what looks like an action, which is bringing somebody into the cure drive and working with them and helping them. She just has to turn that into an enjoyable activity. And see, I made another discovery. Before I made this outline, I discovered, and it surprised me, that people were spending too much time helping people.
Right.
And that's why they didn't want to do it. Because when they thought about it, it seemed like this endless process, and that was because they didn't know what to say or what to do, or how to go about it. And like when I was talking to you 2 days ago in the evening, Michael, I'm talking to, I enjoyed myself when I was talking to you because I knew how to help you. Like remember what we did with Twitter, like I sort of got you going on it, and you had questions about it, and I answered your questions, and then since then you've been tweeting, and I've been in relationship with you, and I've been enjoying that, like I enjoyed tweeting with you this morning. So I got a reward instead of this essentially like, like, I'll just talk to you, Ross, for a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Like, you've taught a lot of people how to cure things, and every time you did it, it was an activity instead of an action.
Yes.
And you kept saying, well, I don't push this on anybody, and I let them have a choice, and I say, if you want to be with me on the break, stay here. If you don't, go outside and go have a smoke break or something.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll show the people who stay with me how to cure things, and some people would stay with you and you'd show them how to cure things. And you thoroughly enjoyed yourself because you knew how to make it an activity.
Yes.
And I used that. See, I was like cogitating about that for a long time, trying to understand how I could turn that into something that was franchisable. Meaning that it could be like turned into something anybody could do, because it seems so specific. You were in your class, you're an English teacher, and you have a class, and you're the only English teacher on this call, so.
I guess it depends on what each person does. For example, Bob can teach English to people because he meets a lot of people in the coffee shop. But other people with other jobs may not be able to do that.
But so what I realized was that I had to, number one, I had to write it down. That was the number one thing. It had to be a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it had to be designed for people, because most people talk to one person at a time. So it had to be designed so that people who talk to one person at a time could use it. And that's how I did it. And obviously you could do the outline with a group. Like when next time you do this with your students, you can do the outline. Let's say
Yeah, sure.
let's say 3 students decide to stay in the room with you. So you're sitting with them, and certainly up to the Twitter point, you can easily do it.
I think the forward, because almost all of them have smartphones. So
True.
you don't even need one to show them. They can use one of theirs.
That's
They
right.
can use one of theirs because they can use it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And if you use one of theirs, then that person will be up and running on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to practice their English.
Sure.
Okay.
I have a question, Buyer. This morning I went to pay my car insurance. It was an action. I didn't manifest my insurance. I paid for it. Am I right?
Well, we pay for most things. You know, activities are just different from actions because
I know one.
See-
So they create the context for manifesting. Like sitting down and paying all your bills is an activity.
Mm.
yeah,
It could be. You can manifest while you're doing that activity.
Well, it could be an activity, depends on what you're intending.
Yeah, it depends on, exactly. It depends where you're, like, I gotta pay my car insurance and you're running off to pay it. That's
What I'm getting here is that it's not the thing that matters, it's the way you relate to it that matters. So
yeah,
the
exactly.
thing, paying your
Yeah.
bill, could be an action or could be an activity, depending on how you relate to it.
Sure.
And the result is not from what you do, it's from the intent and the way you relate to what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm starting to get here.
Yeah, because like for some people, it's a really big deal, big action, they have to go to the
Yeah.
gym. And where Michael, it's just another idea, it's another activity, it does it every day.
For some people, a very low level of manifesting, just going to the mailbox is
Yeah.
a big thing. So create one bill, especially when you're young, and you got your first bill. This action, it's so big, I got my mind wrapped around it. It happens every month. You make it automatic out of your bank account. You don't even know about it.
mm-hmm.
Right, that's cool, that's true.
When it's appropriate time, Byron, I have a short story which I think exemplifies this action versus activity.
Oh, go. Tell it now.
Okay. Approximately 2 years ago, there was a long period of time when I didn't have much work. I was unemployed, and I was struggling with money, and I kept taking these actions to try and get work, and they were not successful. I didn't want to do them. I would get up in the morning, force myself to look at some Craigslist ads, replace the Craigslist ad, force myself to look at the newspaper. I hated doing it. I didn't want to, and I didn't get any results from it. So to me, from the context of what we're discussing today, those were actions, and they didn't get results. And then something changed after maybe 6 months of being in that place, when I started to really feel in a deeper place that I wanted some work. And so I did the same thing that I had done before. I got up one morning and I went over to my computer and I looked at Craigslist. And it felt different to me the way I was doing it, and now I understand it as being an activity. And I looked at Craigslist, and in 10 minutes of looking at Craigslist, I saw an ad that some lawyer placed. He was looking for some computer guy to help him with some computer problems. And I responded to the ad, and he asked me to come in and talk to him, and I went in there and I got a job which led to, one thing led to another. It turned out to be almost 2 years of very lucrative employment. And it all came from that one moment when I approached looking at Craigslist as an activity rather than an action.
So the way you feel about it that makes the difference.
Well, I had an intent. My intention was to manifest work because I was tired of not having money and not having a job. And as soon as I really felt that as an intention, it happened. Even though I was doing the same thing that I've been doing for 6 months with no result. There was something different about that morning, and
Sure.
I often notice about myself that as far as, I always got my job all by word of mouth. I never went to interviews or anything like that. And, you know, people would pass my name. And I did notice that if I didn't want to work, I had to be ready to work. And if I switched over to, okay, you know, working would be great, then I manifested somebody giving me a job. And if I didn't want it, then I didn't get it. So it's kind of like a mindset also.
Exactly. Oh, that's how when I did massage, I never advertised. And I would be away for a while, and I'd come back and say, okay, now I'm ready to work. And right away I'd start getting calls. And people would tell other people, and I had all these people coming to me. I never heard of them. They just said, oh, some chiropractor in Brooklyn told them to come to me. I don't know who that was.
You were ready?
When I said, okay, now I'm a dancer. I said, I'm a dancer, and my activity is to talk to people and sort of be gregarious and see what's there and connect and so forth. And this guy who was the director of a little theater, tiny little theater in New York, but well known for dance, the guy said, oh, great. By the way, there are auditions for the American Dance Festival tomorrow morning. You should come. And I said, but I haven't applied. I said, don't worry, just come anyway. So I came, and I didn't have a piece prepared. I just improvised a piece. And actually said, well, I'll improvise for you. I actually told him that, I guess, to try to take off some of the pressure. And afterwards, the woman said, oh, that was wonderful, you know, and they gave me a scholarship.
Wow.
So, I mean, I got a call later on saying, first of all, I got a question, I got to tell you something, I got a question. So, first of all, you're accepted. Now, secondly, where's your application? So it's just like things would drop in my lap, but I had to be aware, to actually to keep moving forward, recognize what I was manifesting and say yes, 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 rather than, oh, I have to think about that and reflect on it and pull back and I don't know, what am I doing? All that is in the way of manifesting. Being conscious really helps to manifest. Put it that way.
Are you ready?
Yeah, and asking for work can just become an activity if you just remember to ask people all the time. It's like Barb, if you want money from people, just remember that. Don't take the action to ask them, but just remember to ask them. As part of your regular, normal activities.
We used to get lights, a small company I was in, lights donated to us. We could have them for the weekend. They were from North Carolina School of the Arts, which had a ballet company, modern company. It's like Juilliard of the South. And our tech guy would just say, you don't get it if you don't ask. Yep, you don't ask. You have a cigarette hanging out and his wire guy said, yep, you don't get it if you don't ask. Like that.
This concept of activities and versus actions can be taken a step further into our relationships with other people. I'm just realizing. Do you want me to explain what I'm thinking about that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about Barb. If I relate to Barb through action, I get nothing but frustration.
Yeah, right.
If I'm wanting Barb to be places on time, if I'm wanting Barb to always be organized, or if I'm wanting Barb to always pay attention to what she's wearing on her feet when she's walking across my floor, things like that, I get frustrated because Barb isn't about that. She's not about Bar's not about organization and punctuality and and being aware of, at all moments of like what's around her. And so if I relate to Barb with an expectation that she's going to take certain actions, because for her those things are actions. For her, being someplace on time, for her keeping in mind that she has something on the burner on the stove, those are all actions, and she's not really into those things, and she doesn't do well with those things. And so if I relate to Barb from a place of expectation where I want her to be taking certain actions, it's not going to work. I'm just going to get frustrated, and her and I are going to get in fights, and we've done that. We spent many years doing that, fighting with each other because of that. But if I relate to Barb through activity, in other words, if I appreciate and love Barb for her activities, her love of people, her ability to be totally present in the moment, her compassion, her colorfulness and passion and all those things, then those are her activities, then I love Barb and I get along with Barb. So I think the reason that fire that you're seeing is this closening of the relationship between me and Barb is that I'm learning more to relate to her through activity rather than through action.
Very well said, and that is absolutely right. And here's the problem that people have with spending quality time with their kids and all the other things that people try to do, and they're all actions, they're not activities. And a guy takes his kid hunting, and it's just, the kid isn't interested in hunting, he's gay, and it just doesn't work out. And the guy just can't understand, why can't I relate to my son? I'm trying so hard. And if you're trying, you're not manifesting. So now, let me go back to Greg. Now, I do not intend to embarrass you, but I think that this is an issue that we need to talk about. And the issue is, when you're doing some kind of obviously deviant activity, and what I mean by deviant is deviant from your, let's say, stated intentions in your life, or deviant from what your stated intentions ought to be. What are you manifesting? So,
John?
remember, lower your camera.
It keeps coming up. Hit the wire. Ignore.
Because activities, interest in activities matter a lot, I guess, that which matters.
Sure. Your interest has to be in line with your mission.
Well, when you were, long time ago, you used to sit at your desk and secretly masturbate. I don't know how long that went on, but while it was going on, what do you think you were doing to what we were intending to manifest?
It's going to be blue humor, so I'm going to skip that.
I'd love to hear it. Go. Do it.
No, I was just
I'm open to it.
creaming my whole operation. Well, I don't know. It's just totally ignoring, obliterating any kind of sense of connection with what I'm manifesting, and it's just, well, it depends. I mean, if masturbating depends on what it's for, what you're manifesting with it. I mean,
Well, during that period, I was blissfully skipping forward thinking that I was causing Pure to chip into global consciousness, and I wasn't either, you know. I wasn't sitting at my desk masturbating, but I was probably doing the equivalent of that. You know, I used to go out to the park every day and write. And I think that I wrote things that seemed to me at the time like they would do the trick. And they never did. And probably those were all actions.
I'm going to put you on mute just for a second. I'm telling this person I'll call her back.
Okay, let's... You back, Greg? Come off mute.
Talk about manifesting.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about manifesting. You know, Franny was telling me last night that, you know, this woman you'd been seeing, like she wants to take you to a play, and
Yeah.
you were telling Franny that, you know, you're not, you made it clear to her that you're not with her, you're not going to be with her anymore, and so on.
Yep.
And all of that, and but you were saying you do want to go to the play, and the tickets are $64, so you'd like to have her take you.
Sure.
And you know what? If you stop to think about it, that is absolutely a terrible
I'm not.
thing to go out with somebody to save $64.
It's an action, not an activity.
Test that.
I'm testing that's an action, big time.
Going out to the theater, for me, is an activity.
No, sure, it's an activity. If you pay for your own ticket.
When I go out with Desi, I go out to the theater. I take her out to the theater. I pay for her, she pays for me.
I'm just saying,
You have something in your mind about the relationship.
going out with somebody because they're going to pay $64 for you, there's really something wrong with that. I mean, does anybody else see this but me?
I know what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I don't agree with it.
Well, let's let some other people weigh in on it.
Well, when I tested on it, I tested that it was an action rather than activity. That was an attempt to get something rather than to manifest.
I manifested her
Yeah.
for me. I was going to see them play anyway. There were tickets for $30 or $32. There are industry tickets for $20. I don't have headshots and resume. So I could have done it for $32. They disappeared. Now, someone said, oh, I want to take you for your birthday. Oh, yeah, I manifested. My birthday was last Thursday. So, yeah, I want to take you, I'll take you out for your birthday. You know, not having dinner together, and it's not a date. Just take you out for your birthday. Okay, great, fine. I manifested the thing I wanted to see with a friend in it for free, and it's my birthday present.
Well, that might be true. That's different, because I know that I've had that
Do
experience.
you have any ideas about this? Or any judgments?
What, Barb?
Maybe with Greg saying and change it a little bit, but that was more leaning in my direction, because I know times I've done that too. I thought, well, I'll just do this because I'm getting something for free, and it actually turned out to be a big distraction, or it was like, why they, what was the point? And, it wasn't consistent with manifesting anything other than trying to, get something for nothing, so for others, some they didn't really want to do this anyway, it wasn't consistent, but if that's your routine that you go to plays all the time as part of your work or part of your thing, I guess, maybe it's different, not that's a free play or something.
Barb, let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to a dinner party where you didn't want to be?
Yeah.
Now-
Examples of it. Those are examples I'm thinking about, times when people ask me to dinner or to their house, to a party or to their house.
Now, was that an activity or an action?
Action. I had to work to turn it into an activity. I could, convert it, I guess, in the moment, but
And sometimes the reason you go is just because you can't stand the idea of staying home alone.
yeah, I felt like maybe, yeah.
Like you didn't want to be with yourself.
Uh-huh.
And Greg, you've said to me several times now that you have a little trouble just because we can see where you live. And you say, like, I'm in this very small room and I just, like, it's sort of like you get cabin fever being there.
I have in the past, I don't have it now.
Okay, what changed?
It's a strong relationship with Franny, someone else, an intimate relationship, not just, see, the activity is the relationship. It's an ongoing kind of sense of life. And, so that's fulfilling to me.
So it made a significant change in how you feel being in your space, you mean?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this whole thing about her asking you in the first place is a result of activities from the past,
Yes.
because you have certain interests and you manifested all this. And the thing that I think you don't realize is that you have to cut this off, otherwise you're going to keep manifesting the same thing. And
I
so
do realize that.
she's not going to stop.
I do realize that.
Okay.
As I've told you, every time you say it.
When I see that you change, I might stop saying it.
And the change is what? That I'm not manifesting anymore? That's
No, where you let this person know that they don't know how to.
Don't see her again, ever.
Oh, well, that's,
Because she is not going to stop. You understand? She is not going to
she's
stop.
not going to stop, or she is going to stop.
Hey, Greg, you
She's
know what?
not going to stop with
You're-
your activities.
You're angry. Angry, defensive, and reactive. So let's talk about that. Like, what would you be manifesting when you're angry, defensive, and reactive?
Not much. More of the same, probably.
Well, see, the thing is, we're in a world full of people who do massively deviant behaviors, like a lot worse than the things we're talking about right now, way worse.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was watching Piers Morgan interview a guy who killed his parents. And he was saying that when he killed his parents, he had completely turned off all feeling. He felt absolutely nothing. Now, also what we're talking about is not what he manifested on a personal level. What we're talking about, what did this kid manifest in Africa when he killed his parents? We're manifesting things globally all the time. Like when you were sitting at your desk, masturbating, you were manifesting global events all over the earth.
Yep.
Like, one thing you could test, this woman's name I guess is Nancy. Why don't you test, am I cheating Nancy if I go to the play, if I allow her to take me out for my birthday?
No.
Alright. Let's everybody test it. What did
I
everybody...
guess yes. Yes.
Well, I got to know.
If she thinks we're having a relationship, and I'm not saying no, we're not.
Does she?
No.
Oh, because there's another typical situation between, girls and guys. Like a girl, I know a woman who's friend of Michael's and I who lets guys take her out all the time because they think they have a chance to be in a relationship with her, and she just wants to have dinner or get some free outing. And they get
It looked like Desi and I would have a relationship, and now we're friends, and we have a relationship, but it was not that type of relationship. It was not an intimate thing.
You never gave her the idea that she was ever going to be in a relationship with you. You gave Nancy an idea that you would be. It's a completely different situation. And I also am okay if you really want to go out to play with her.
There's a deeper issue, which is like you're angry and reactive. But wait a minute.
Test that.
But actually, not really maybe connected to us. Like that's the $64 question is where's your, like I was.
Well, are you connected with me?
Yeah, you know how like I'll call you up sometimes out of the clear blue sky and I'll start talking to you about things I've seen about you?
Uh-huh.
Now, you have done that with me possibly a few times, but nowhere near. Like I've done at least 10 of those with you to every one you've done with me.
Yeah, true.
And so that to me tells me that like you're not in your room thinking about me and what you can do to help me. The way I'm sitting in my room thinking about you and what I can do to help you. And also, so see, here I come to you and I try to do something to help you, and this has happened like maybe most of the time, is you just don't want it. Like, it seems like you don't want this connection, that kind of connection where somebody cares about you and wants to, like wants your life and you to be better.
Yes.
And that, you don't care about doing that for somebody else or them doing it for you. And you're a control case. Like, you're trying to control your life, like desperately trying to control your life. And I started.
Yeah, I see, yes, I understand, I agree with this. It's just I did not agree before with what you're saying, and to me,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, I started to wonder about Mike.
Mike,
Has
or Mike Markoven,
your brother?
yeah.
Like, has your brother ever been tested as having something neurologically wrong with him?
I don't know.
So in other words, what we see when we look at him, according to what you and I know, is just his personality. Like it's just a personality disorder.
Oh, when he was young, he had things tested. Yeah, he was not going to progress past the age 12 or so.
So that's how they diagnosed him.
Yeah, but this is back in the 50s, and he's done much better than that. Now it's not,
He certainly has.
and I mean, he still has his things, and he has been great recently. I mean, it's partly, I think, it's like, it's not like you, Barb. It's just, it's good for him to have people around him, like Barb.
Yes, it is.
People around him. People around him all the time. Don't we all?
Well, see, your brother's problem, of course, is that he lives in like a kind of room you live in, I guess. He doesn't live with anybody.
No, he doesn't. He has his son living there. He has a 2-bedroom condominium.
And maybe I'm not very clear about what it's like to be you in that room. Because I'm thinking that you're like me in my room. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're more like Mike in his room. You know, it may be excruciating for you to be in your room in a way that I could never understand. So, like...
Well, when you talk about manifesting, it's like you're sitting in the room because you manifested that. So,
Okay, now, test this. Does it make any difference what room I'm in as to how I am?
No, it doesn't make any
Not right
difference.
now.
What does make a difference is that you're in the room and that
that's what you manifested.
what your predilection is.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Because you're being the same in another room, is because it's not the room that's doing it to you. It's like somehow it's what you choose to do and what your interests and activities have been that led you to be in the room where you would be in another room and be the same way. So you have to hit the original part, not just the being in the room part.
Yeah, well also, I'm a neutron and you're a proton. And neutrons like being by themselves because they have both charges. But
I'm neutron, I'm often, on a certain level, I'm a neutron or a,
yeah, you are.
and I like being by myself. I really do well by myself.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, good, all right.
I
Let me say something.
you have to have connection with people or else you go crazy.
That's true. That is true. That's also very true, actually.
Sound off of them all the time and use them as a sounding board.
That's
to get
true.
energy from them.
I'm sorry, but I'm just
That's true.
the fact that you're doing well by being the way you are, Greg. I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with it. I think that you have caused yourself loneliness and wanting things that you're not giving or not having or whatever. That's what you're manifesting. You're not, I don't think you're doing really well sitting in your room.
I didn't say I was.
I said he does really well by himself. Let me just ask you something else.
Sometimes, yeah.
What,
That can relate to times when I was, seemingly with us, but not with us, like indulging in my own, addictions or distractions or whatever. And I was made connected by a thread, and people think of me as a people person. I spend a lot more time alone than people realize, but I'm never really alone because I'm been letting myself be seen. And I know that when I'm by myself, I'm pretty, almost always, like, I'm constantly working on this vision that I have. And the fewer distractions I have, which is way fewer now, the fewer addictions, which is like way fewer, there's down to almost 0 now, just freed up my manifesting abilities. So, like, when you're alone, and I don't live with you anymore, Greg, so like, I don't really know what you want to manifest, because you'll manifest what you want, you'll get what you want. And you're probably getting what you want already, in terms of relationship or our accomplishments.
Well, see, wait a minute, stop. Before you, let's just, we're going to end the meeting in a few minutes, so we kind of have to be, summing up. And
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, I like what you're saying.
I just want to know, I don't know what Greg's after these days.
See, that's the point. Okay, what you need to understand is it's quite possible that Greg doesn't yet, he's not fully aware of what he wants, or to put it another way, he is manifesting very good things. Like, he manifested Franny, and he has chosen to stay with Franny for 30 years. So that's, that's a pretty consistent pattern of successful choices to make. Mm-hmm. And, we're a bunch of people who are in really good shape compared to most people. And what we have to know is that if you look at your activities, you can see a lot about your intentions and understand. If you're doing actions, you're not going to probably manifest anything, so that's the way it's going to be. And it's very easy to tell when you're doing an action. It's easy to see it, so you can spot yourself and you can just stop. If you're doing actions, just don't do them. Stop doing them. Mm-hmm. So that's the formula for manifesting, is if you're doing actions, just stop. But if you're doing activities, you have to look very carefully at your activities and evaluate them carefully to see what you are probably generating. And I'm not just talking about generating for yourself, I'm talking about in Syria. What are you generating in Colorado? What are you generating on your smartphone there? What are you generating? Where are you generating it? And I just have to say just one other thing to Greg before you go, that when you were here, you seemed so happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to put that out, you really were for 3 weeks, you just seemed to be consistently happy and having fun and enjoying yourself and doing activity. I didn't really see you doing too many actions, other than that day when you were cursing and swearing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You were obviously doing an action then.
Yeah. It was doing actions to, otherwise the thing wouldn't have gotten done. I had a time schedule, days off, and I had to do certain things on certain days. I had to do them in order to get completed by the day I left.
Right. So it does.
I just don't want to do it at all. But no one else is going to do it at a decent price. You wouldn't even get the same result. You pay someone $500.
It's still. It's still, it still could be an activity.
Whatever. I made it more an activity later on after we talked.
Yeah, it was. I noticed there was a very marked change in you in the middle of it. And it looked way more like an activity at that point. It was the same activity, and it looked more like an activity.
Yeah.
So Barb, the thing that you're talking about is, what is Greg getting? What does he want? What is his?
What do you think he's manifesting?
Well, see, that's what we're really talking about. Is not what he wants or if he's getting what he wants, but what we're talking about.
What do you think he's manifesting?
Yeah.
I know now that
So what he's got to do is really study his own activities very carefully and ask himself, okay, what am I generating with this?
Well, I've been asking myself that question. Why did I manifest this? Yikes.
That's true, that she forgot.
Well, you can go, and Franny, you know, you can trace it back to your activities and see it, and and you certainly, absolutely, you're our best manifester. As far as I've always known you to be, you're the person who, you manifest things. You and Barb are like incredible manifestors.
That's right.
And if we could get you actually aligned, we would have an ally in no time. You know? So this class is for you. And Michael, thank you for being here. It was really a swell to have you, and you make a big contribution to everything that you do. It's really great.
Oh, thank you. It feels good to hear that.
Yeah. Well, okay, I think this is a good place to call it, and this was a good topic class. I think listen to this when I get it up on the web, and get it in your bones.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm on the
Thank you.
I'm on the 144th dimension, everybody.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
That's all.
This is the Cure Drive Cult homepage. You can see we tally our cures. That's the tally there, 132,000. You report your cures here, right here. That's the link to report your cure. Okay, this is the movie that people start with generally. And there's a lot of people actually curing things on camera in this movie and demonstrating exactly how to do it. It's 4.5 hours. So you would be able to probably understand and know what these people are doing by watching this. We are a cult because we're all over the world. Maybe one person in a town, just one little guy who cures things in a whole town full of people who don't, whose spouse thinks she's crazy because she's curing things and he doesn't. She doesn't get sick and he's down with the flu for 5 days and he still thinks she's crazy. We've had spouses die. So this person is demonstrating curing herpes in this movie, the one you're watching right there. And it goes on like that. Now, these are the people here. You see this black area here? This is our Twitter feed. These are the people you want to talk to. And what you do, see, it says follow Cure Drive. And that's what you do. You click on that, and then you pick somebody. Anybody in here will be happy to help you. So you write to people that you see in here. And there's all these people all talking about what they're curing. So that's what you do. You pick somebody that that seems like a kindred spirit, presumably, and you write to them. See that picture of the cat there? That's Rosella. She's one of the people whose spouse died. He was a very great guy. He just thought it was nuts. Never did it. Died of cancer. Not too long ago, about 2 months ago. So anyway, you just, you write to somebody and, tell them what you, are trying to do. People are always asking about negative medical tests. Here, let me show you. This is a voicemail message. You should probably, if you're interested in getting a negative medical test on, let's say, herpes, she got negative medical tests and both kinds of herpes. And she left me this message when she got her letter from the, hospital, I guess. She was in New Zealand. So her tests are free. Now, of course, there's an enormous website behind this homepage. I guess you're probably guessing, right? And if you see these movies, these are all people demonstrating curing various diseases. These people chose to contribute their cures to your effort to cure yourself. There are around, I guess, over 800 movies, and some of them are linked to this page. So if you click on any one of these pictures, it will go to a movie, and that movie will start playing. So join the cult. Your friends will be worried about you. You're in a cult, they'll be worried. You have the crazy idea that you can cure medically incurable diseases. They're going to be very concerned. Especially if you're battling cancer. Your friends will be worried, and that's a good thing. You will cure things. And that is also a very good thing. You will begin curing things the moment you join, because that's how you join. You cure something. When you cure something, you're in the cult. If you want to get out of the cult, just stop curing things. You won't be in the cult anymore. Easy to exit. Your easy exit strategy. And who knows? You may even cure the medically incurable disease that you came in here to cure. A lot of us did. That's me there in the movie holding forth on how to cure things. I'm on the cure team. That's what I did. I cured a medically incurable disease. Two of them, actually. So I cured 2 kinds of herpes. It was about 4 months after I started doing this that I actually discovered, I'm the person who discovered that you could cure physical diseases. July 1993, my 20th anniversary just passed. I haven't had an outbreak of herpes for 20 years, and before that, I was having outbreaks for 28 years. I got herpes in 1965. The end of the year. 28 years of outbreaks followed by 20 years of no outbreaks. That's how bad it can be and how good it can be if you let it be good. So, take the courageous step that almost everyone you know will advise you not to take. Join the cult. When you're in the cult, your friends will get sick and you will get well. Your friends will give sympathy and you will give cure. And you'll know that you don't even need to take a vitamin pill to cure something. You can just cure it with nothing. Just with you. What can you contribute? What will your contribution be? This woman is curing a flu right on camera. She came in with full symptoms and they were all gone in 15 minutes. You can see it happen. Flu is an incurable viral-based disease. It's medically incurable. She cures it right in front of you. We eagerly await your contribution. And here they are, eagerly awaiting your contribution. And anything that you say to any of these people will probably be a contribution of some kind.